you can't save everything, man. I had so much stuff, and I had a big house and all that kind of, and just now I got it cramped down to this, and a lot of stuff is still packed up, and a lot of stuff I may never see it again. Ain't stored in 20. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But
So we have this photo here. Hello, this is Ryan Ellis. I'm here with the great Lee Canady, and I'm going to show this photo. I'm just going to hold it in front of this camera. And is this you?
yes, that's me back in the day, really. And a friend of mine, Jim Wilson, is a police officer for Detroit City, Detroit. Um, in fact, he hung in the store all the time. We were very good friends. His father-in-law was Senator Holmes, was his father-in-law, and Jim was killed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was killed.
You know, I cut myself with a knife yesterday in
Wow.
an accident. I sliced my finger.
Oh,
You ever have accidents? You ever cut yourself?
yes, and, really, I can't stand blood. I pass out.
Ooh, really?
Yes,
You want to get
I
this
remember once. In fact, when I first came to Detroit, Michigan,
in Allen Park in 1958? You arrived at midnight, right?
right,
And that was that New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve,
Let me straighten this out.
New Year's Eve, we got in, and I think it was a weekend. And then Monday, I had a job. I went to work.
That's crazy.
I went to work. But Jim Wilson, he was on my beat, on my store at the block. Him and another officer named Bobby Gary.
Hmm.
They would always control downtown. They would ride the motorcycles, the bicycles, and they was always in my store. And so there was a group called The Time, was out at the time, and they was trying to promote that album. They wanted to take a picture of that, like that, say it was time to move my car, like he was giving me a ticket.
And that's what that picture is. That's the
Right,
album cover.
right, right.
Well, here, snap your finger, and I'll put it on the screen right when you snap your finger like magic. You do it in front of the microphone.
Like
That's
that.
nice. And then you got your ring too. You got your ring.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When did you learn how to snap your finger?
But rhythm, I guess. Rhythm, you know.
Now, you told me before that when you'd go to a show, you'd kind of get in, get out. You wouldn't stay for the whole thing.
Well, it depends on who it was. It's just like, personally, I liked jazz, and but I had to patronize everybody, the rock and roll singers, when they on stage. They were always inviting me there to be a special guest,
And you would go to shows
and
that
I
you
would
didn't
go.
like.
I would go, yeah, just see them perform because they were customers of mine. I tried to help for them. I was always active in the music
There's
industry.
an exception to this, though. The biggest exception of your life, I think. You, the jazz fan, turned down an opportunity to meet backstage on the same night Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley.
Yes, they was at the Olympia down on Grand River, and we had met some friends, and a friend of mine, they wanted to go, and we had a limo and took us there, and so they was waiting outside, but we were supposed to go backstage. I was supposed to go backstage, but I didn't go. There was so many people there. I hate I missed it because it's the last time. After that, Elvis Presley, I think, passed away.
Well, was that in the 70s then that happened? Because he passed away in the 70s, right?
Well, whenever it was before. I don't remember what year he passed, but they just happened to be they used to give concerts at the Olympia down on Grand River. The Red Wings was down there, and but at the time they had the concert, and I think, well, I know that was the last time Elvis Presley was here, but Frank Sinatra opened up, and Elvis Presley was the opening show act for Frank Sinatra, and so
Elvis Presley, because from here to eternity, was the movie that Frank Sinatra made that was his comeback. Because his career kind of tumbled, then he made From Here to Eternity, had his comeback. In fact, I think Frank Sinatra retired in the late 60s, and then he came back to performing because he thought he had done everything. So, and same thing with Elvis. Elvis came back in the late 60s, you know, like he got the you know,
Mm-hmm.
the return of Elvis. He had that great live album produced by, I think, Charles Porter, a man who revolutionized live sound, worked with Roy Orbison and many other
Mm-hmm.
greats from the 50s, like
Mm-hmm.
Elvis. Um, so you would get in, get out at a lot of shows, but you would stay for acts that you enjoyed. Who are some
Yeah.
acts that you would always stay for?
Well, I don't want to be
Not
prejudice.
always.
Always. Well, something like I enjoy. I would say I would see the show. I see one show completely all the time. Usually, but because I just couldn't stay there, hang all night. I had other things to do and other places to go. Sometimes be a couple shows in a night. I made two or three places I might stop
That's how
before
you
I
go to
go
ELVIS.
home because I was there to support the artists. They supported me. They would come. People would come there and buy the music for me, and people liked seeing me on the scene.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought I was a musician because I was always there. And at the 20 grand, we had a store in the corner, 1 and 14. We'd be open from 12 o'clock to, I don't know, at night till after everything's closed. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, we would close. And so I would be in and out of the store after I would close up downtown. We would close down at 6 and 9 o'clock at night. And then I'm at the 20 grand back and forth, back in and out of the 20 grand. Everybody performing. That was a time that I spent records over there on a Monday night for Bill Williams.
Hmm.
And
Is that a DJ?
he was a disc jockey at WCHB at the time.
Now, help me understand this. You were the first black record store owner in Michigan. You were also the first black record store owner in the world that bought directly from the record manufacturers. You bought in bulk. And because you bought so much, you had a little bit of sway over what went on the radio. How did that work out?
Well, first, I was the first black to buy direct from the manufacturer in the country. Not the first black-owned record store in Michigan. They had a record stores, but they would always have record stores. I suppose record shop they would call them. And but I bought direct from the manufacturer, and therefore I deal with the manufacturer. Uh,
Well, about the record shops, you were a business that had your own books and paid taxes. Maybe the record shops weren't on the books. Wasn't there a
well,
difference there?
I don't know. A lot of record shop back in the day was just store. You might see a barbecue stand. Doesn't mean he licensed to be a
Well,
barbecue
that's what I'm
stand.
saying. You were the first licensed black
Well, no,
record store owner in
I
Michigan.
don't know. I don't know how they paid the taxes, but you could be a owner of a store
That happens to
when
also sell
you
records,
have
but
to.
you primarily sold
You have
records.
to go to assume a name,
Yeah.
and then you file. I mean, apply for your tax license, and they would put you in a category where you're supposed to be.
Hmm.
Then you expect your register to pay taxes, and you got to keep books because everything that you sell in total you owe so much taxes. And so that's what I did, and everybody I don't say did that.
Now, getting back to the sway over the radio, did you have sway over the radio, and if so, how did that work?
Well, the manufacturers they trying to promote the album, like it's a Blue Note Records company. It was like a jazz label only. Anybody you couldn't they didn't have anybody on Blue Note label. You had to be really somebody good that thought that was a jazz person, and, and when they started out. But now the label got subsidiary of other labels like Motown. They had Motown. They got different labels. D Town. I don't remember exactly what they are, but they call a subsidiary a different label. But he still owned the company. Capitol got other records besides Capitol Records. And like Arista, It's owned by Clyde Davis, but I think it's working through maybe Atlantic. I'm not even sure who they work through. But anyway, they call subsidiary of the labels. And the record company, when they have an artist, they promote that artist. They deal with the people who buy from them. You get free advertisement. I did because you couldn't pay for advertising. They were sponsoring me. When a record coming out, they would tag me and they on the radio. You could pick it up at Lee's Monroe Music,
Oh, beautiful.
and so it cost me nothing to that. But you got to buy from the record company, but you get that. And buy from the record company, like I said, as procedure, you got to have credit and a lot of things like that. You know, so I had that. Whatever the hoops I had to jump through, I jumped through them because I bought the record from the manufacturer.
And this wasn't, you know, you see they're doing this and then you adjust. This was on purpose. You had this plan that you wanted to have sway, or just kind of fell into your lap.
Well, it's cheaper to buy in bulk. Well, if you buy, everybody buy at the same price, nobody can undersell you. If you buy in bulk, you can undersell other people. See, and I sold discount black music. I think I'm the first in Michigan to sell discount records to black music. You would go, they had a store here called Discount Records, but you go in and ask for Miles Davis, you pay retail price for it. In fact, if you wanted to see the album, to read the liner notes on the back of the album, chances are they give you an empty cover, jacket. Well, at the time, you know, we always been uh, paint with the brush of everybody. They think you're gonna run out with the album, I suppose. You steal it or something.
Yeah.
So therefore, they gave you an empty jacket you could read the liner note. And but this, I didn't. I wasn't like that. My album was always in the covers. I would play them for the customer because I would pick tunes that I think would sell the records, and everything wouldn't sell a record. That's how Lou Rawls came out with the Tobacco Road. Uh, Blues for Full String Guitar was hit side of the movie that was coming out. And they thought, Lou Rawls thought that was going to be a hit of his new album because he wanted me to listen to what he had recorded. And I chose Tobacco Road. He did not like Tobacco Road because it well, the words he said, it was no props in it. All he had was the Brahm, I was born, boom, boom, in a dump. That's all it was, but it's all it needed. At the time, he had just got strings in a recording he did on Blues for Full String Guitar because when he listened to it, he said, "Don't you hear those strings in that record?" Yeah, but I don't hear the soul that I hear on Tobacco Road. And I told him that I know a lot of people down on Tobacco Road, and some of them are still there. That means Tobacco Road was hard time, poor. That's what he said. He was born in a dump. Mama got drunk, or his daddy got drunk, something, you know? But that's the, the way it was. That's where I came from. I didn't like that environment. I don't even drink. I drink a little wine like that. But I don't, you know, people get drunk, that's to them. But, you know, I just have, but anyway, and that's how Tobacco Road came out.
It's amazing that you were able to choose
Yeah.
what would be the winner.
And,
Pick the horse that won the race.
right. And a lot of tunes come out like that. I would take an album, they might be promoting one thing on the radio, but I listen to the album, other cuts of the album, and I may choose another cut. And then I report it to the trade magazine, to the radio, and most of the time, not all the time, sometimes they take my advice. Like they listen to it, you know, and that's how I Rosalie got to play Tobacco Road because she listened to it. I asked her to. She did it.
She took you seriously.
Right. And the rest is history.
That could almost be the title of this whole project. The rest of the history.
Right. You know, it is what it is, you know. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Well, you are. That's the thing. No shoulda, couldas here.
Yeah.
Actually's here. I like that blue on the other side. Red
Okay.
and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red,
Okay,
white,
yeah,
blue.
okay, okay.
For the next thing, we're gonna do a lightning round. I'm just gonna give you like I think last time when I was going through the things like the names and of the songs and the bands, it brought up memories.
Okay, yeah. Well, just like we just talked about Jim Wilson, that we didn't know, but say when you brought back the picture, well, Jim Wilson, like I said, his father-in-law was a senator, and a senator back in then was great for a black person. You follow what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And he taught me, told me the do's and don'ts, gave me idea what to do. He's a police officer. He's in the store. He's trying to get out and dodging work, not dodging work, but you know, instead of being out in the cold, he's back in the store. We talking. I had a big leather couch in the back room set up, refrigerator, hot plate. We sit and have food, and he go get warm. He go back out on the streets, back and forth. There was always in and out of the store, and as I got to know all the policemen, just about, I would say 90% of the policemen that in Detroit at the time, because when I started in business in '59, it was a very handful of police, black policemen, and you could count them on your hand. And one was Bill Hostin. He became chief of police. I know when he came on the force, he became chief. In fact, he tried to get me, talk me into being a police officer. He almost did, because he told me, we got hurry up and leave and make you mad because you're going to turn the age. You had it up to a certain age, I could be a police officer.
How old they'll take you on the force.
Right. That was the time you got a certain age, you couldn't be a police officer. But now I think the law has changed. I think I could get on if I wanted to.
You probably could. They're hurting for
I'm,
cops.
well, I'm just saying that you can't discriminate against age now.
That's right.
You follow me?
Yes, sir.
Of course, you got to go through the process. If I can do it, but age won't keep you from doing it.
That's right.
Back then, age was a difference. So Bill would be in the store and he would talk to me all the time. He would always. I learned a lot from Bill Hostin, and I think his daughter married a guy in the record business. I can't call his name right now. But he asked me about the guy. I don't know how they met, but I don't remember his daughter. I remember when she was little, but she grew up, and I didn't see her all the time. But I would see him and his wife sometime. And I ran into Bill at a function down on Grand River at that big church down there. I don't remember the name of the church. After I retired, it was about 10 years ago. And we both are old, and we saw each other. He was the police chief. Yes. And they all knew me down there. The sheriff, Evans, I know him too. He would come in the store, and the judge, Evans.
The judge would come to your store.
She was coming in the store before she was a judge because she was going to school at the time.
So Diana Ross used to go to your record store.
Most everybody come in the store and I got to know people.
People try to be humble and they don't try to name drop, but I think now is the time, if any, to name drop some of the names of people before they're famous, when they're famous, after they're famous, that would come into Lee's Monroe music.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Well, you take, when I was up in '59, black people still was on the move up, forward, right? So some of those people was on the move up. They succeeded. And if they succeeded, they still know me. and they still acknowledge me when they see me. I was in the court, landlord court, and Judge Ibn was there. And something, she said, "I know you from somewhere." And I told her, but she knew me from the music store. And we met on the street, and she took a picture with me and hugged, and she was a judge,
Yeah.
you know. And but I was downtown a long time, where everybody came. When you in Detroit, a lot of people had the transit, city transit. Whether you go to the east side, you got to come downtown to make transfer to go to the east side. So when people get downtown and going to the west side, the east side, they either stop and look around, and when they know, they stop in the store. And so just about everybody who they was in the store, Anita Baker, uh, uh, they all came in.
Go on. Who's some more names? Diane. What's her Diane? Diana Ross.
Diana would come by from school every day. She didn't necessarily come in every day from school, but occasionally she would come by because her cousin lived in Southwest Detroit. They said it was cousin. I don't dispute what they said. You understand?
Yeah.
And they look alike. Sometimes they would be together, and I suppose Diane would leave there and go. She was in walking distance from where she lived from downtown over there where she grew up. It's walking distance. And in fact, she could walk to school every day from Cass. She went to Cass. Dr. Roseman, he would come in and go into school every day. Johnny Bristow would come in every day because Johnny Bristow was dating one of my employees at the time. They were young. He was singing with a group. I don't really. Motown, Barry's sister had her label, Thelma, I believe. I'm not sure, but she had him sign with her, and he wrote the tune "Someday We'll Be Together," and Johnny Bristol would be in the store every day, all through the day, because his girl worked at the time, and sometimes I would drive them home at night when I closed up. He would maybe they'd pick her up, and I would drive them both home. And then he went on, and he had the biggest thing, probably one of the biggest songs in Motown High, Johnny Bristow, "Hang On Sloopy."
Sloopy, hang on.
Right. Yeah. Well, see, like I said, they all came in there. Well, not everybody, but I suppose, and I didn't necessarily have to see everybody because some of my employees would tell me, so-and-so was in, and they sang, but I maybe didn't see them.
They would sing, you said?
Not sing. What sometime that was dramatic Run Banks, because Run Banks and the Dramatics guy who he said he organized the Dramatics. I don't know whether he did or not. I take him as his word. He worked at traffic court. He was coming to the store every day on this lunch hour. He wanted me to listen to them sing. They had a group, and Ron Bank was a member of the group. And another guy, Squirrel, they all was in it. No, Squirrel was one of the guys who was in the Dramatics. They called him Squirrel. His name was Squirrel.
How did you get that name, the Squirrel?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But he was one of the original Dramatics. And until they got, I guess he's still living today. I'm not sure. Some of them have left. They wanted to sing for me because they wanted me to be their manager. I had a group called the Moniques that I was manager of. They sound just like the Temptations. In fact, they was friends with the Temptations. They sang together. They rehearsed together. 3 girls. We got 10 days at 20 grand. We didn't have a record. We was open up for a group called, I don't remember the group we opened up for, but Levi Mann ran the band. They had 10 days down there. But so therefore, everybody wanted, not everybody, people would know me, say, "You want to be our manager." So Ron Bank would come down there. He brought Ron Banks down to the store. Said Ron Banks can sing higher than Eddie Kendrick. One day, a couple of days, Ron Banks came to the store and he performed for me in the store. He was just singing, him and the other guys come out showing me how high he could get. And they didn't have a record out at the time. They wanted me to be their manager. And that's the fact. L.J. Reynolds, when he came in town, one evening around dusk, he called me on the phone. He wanted to meet me. He called, asked me about somebody, I think. We met downtown at Floods, and we talked. And he asked me about being manager him at the time. He was a group from down south, I believe, and he had been here or something. I had met him a couple of times before. But at the time, everybody would, like everybody, a lot of people were trying to sing because Motown was getting on the scene. Everybody was trying to do-wop and want to sing, be a star. That's my group. That's how I got them. And they did real good. And we did a tune called Double O Soul by Evan Starr. We changed the words to the Robert D show. We made a dub and we played it for the disc jockey out of WCHB.
Called Robert D. He had the Robert D show.
Right.
So you made a theme song for his radio show
Right.
there in Detroit, the hometown radio disc jockey.
Right.
So a group you were managing did that for him. Did he actually play it on the air?
Oh yeah, he played. That was his theme song. What we were singing
From then on?
for a while.
Wow.
It's a Robert D show. It's a Robert D show.
It's the Robert D show.
They sang the same tune of Double O Soul.
Yeah, yeah.
They just
Double O Soul.
they just changed the tune. But anyway, so we made a name for ourselves that way, and we was getting little gigs. But you know, I had the store. I had two stores I was running, and it was running me down because I would take them places. I'd be there to rehearse. I knew the tunes. I liked them, and you know, like we did what they was doing directly, like the Motown. We used it.
You were a Berry Gordy for a while. You had your own mini Motown records with the Moniques.
Well, I had the Monique for a couple of years or so. I don't remember how long we had them, but anyway, my daughter was born. I named her after the group at the time, Monique.
Like that? Does your daughter Monique like
Yeah.
that story?
Yeah, she's grown now. She works for the city.
Does she like to tell her friends about that? Like Richie?
I don't know. No, I don't even know that.
So,
too.
you know, there was a time when you bought a building, a studio space. You made a studio, and then Berry Gordy went and bought it up, snatched it up right behind you because he thought you were competition. You were going to start a different.
Well, it wasn't me buying the studio. The people that I was in business with, Key Wells,
Florence.
Mike Hanks, Roger Brown, Pete Hall. We all we had record label called D-Town Records, and we was involved in that. And Florence Keywell was involved in that, and I'm working with Florence Keywell, so I was doing the footwork of Keywell. You know, I did what she would be doing, but she was part of the business. I wasn't part of it. I was just working with Keywell. You know, but I was doing things in the mix, and I was learning at the same time. And so we had a building over there by off of Grand River by the Olympia, and I remember they got soundproof it, spent money because they was getting money from to make their studio work.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was what's happening with Monroe Music at the time. I mean, they was going too far with that, and I wanted to be dwell on the store. So we kind of lost track. Keywell did.
What was going to be? Are we going to focus on selling records or focus on making records?
Well, Pete Hall was trying to come out. He had a record, D. Edwards, I believe. I don't know. Lee Rogers, uh, the Peps. There was a group called the Peps at the time, and they had their own studio. Pete Hall got the studio, and the Florence Gill was involved. That's what I'm saying. And when they soundproofed the studio, Barry found out about it. He bought the building and gave us so much time they had to move. That's a fact.
That's a business. That's he's like Donald Trump. say Barry Gordy was like Donald Trump, or was he like someone else? Who would you compare Barry Gordy to back in the day?
Well,
Who was he like, or was he kind of
well,
just?
he was somebody. He was someone that I wanted. Everybody would want to be like him because he had.
Oh, so he was his own person.
Yes, he was doing what he was doing. He was making records. Like everybody was trying to. Not everybody, but people trying to make records. Everybody was wanting to sing.
I mean, you told me he worked at a Ford auto plant. You can imagine thousands of people have worked at auto plants, but he's this one guy who worked at an auto plant and then comes out with Motown Records, the biggest record label in the world, and everyone knows Motown because it's one guy. Why him? What was so special?
Well, he had what it took. He had his tune. Had the world is turning. He was at the place where it started turning for him, and he was making music. He wasn't the first to make music, but he took it to another plateau. Somebody inspired him to make music in the beginning.
Well, I mean, you had that too. You have the sense of taste. You know what works, what doesn't work. You
Well,
also have that business sense, just like he had.
well, a lot of people got that. You got to try to do it. He didn't. I'm sure he had failures. He didn't. Everything wasn't success, but he kept on going. He kept on. He didn't stop. He kept going. He had a jazz label out. In fact,
Oh, really?
I think he had 3 artists. I can't call. I don't remember the name of the jazz record was. We was at 20 Grand one night, and he came up to me, and he says, "I heard you know a lot about jazz." Miss Kewell told him that I knew something about jazz. I'm sure she did, because Miss Kewell didn't know about jazz. She didn't know about black music, really. And I went in the beginning liking jazz from day one. When I lived in Arkansas, I drove cab, and every night at 12 o'clock there was a guy who worked down at the police station. His name, we called him Sambo. He'd be walking down the street, he'd be singing real loud a jazz tune, and I used to listen to him. And he'd get off work at night, and he'd walk down the street, be going to the neighborhood, his home, and he'd be singing "A Foggy Day in London Town." And he was slew-footed, and he was funny. I used to like that. Foggy Day in London Town. And he was singing real loud, as loud as he could sing, and be walking down the street.
Just trying to be silly.
He was silly, but he was sincere. And I think he was getting high, but I didn't know he was getting high at the time. I felt that he was because I had heard about things like that, but I wasn't hip on it. The other night when I was talking about this guy, Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser,
Paul Reiser.
the producer. That's
Right. Paul Reiser, a guy named Skip, Donna Ross, they all was in the cast at the same time. Paul Reiser,
In high school, all together.
right, Paul Reiser. The group would be in that. Paul Reiser would be in a group with a guy named Skip. Somebody played drums because they was in a band. And my store wasn't much wider in this room here, about at the time. And he had a trombone. And he would set the trombone down, and it'd be all out in front of people couldn't walk by. And I used to get the trombone out of the floor, turn it around. And Paul Reiser all the time, And Skip, his name, I was best man, let me see, what's that best man? Skip, he's a doctor now over on Schoolcraft. And he used to give me massages, chiropractic, and I could go.
You line.
Right. He became a doctor, but they all with Dinah Clark. They all with Dinah Ross in that area. That's when we opened up in business. We got to be friends. We still are. I haven't seen him in a long time. I'll be seeing him every now and then. I saw Paul Reiser down at Camp Marshall one day, and I didn't recognize him. His hair was white. He didn't recognize me either, but we didn't recognize each other's voice.
Wow.
And that was so funny. Recognized each other's voice, but I didn't recognize him. His hair was real white. And that's the time they gave him an award, say he was #1 producer about a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you ran into him there,
yeah,
right by where your record store was.
right. And then we lived in the same neighborhood all the time. When he got married over to Warrington, he lived on Warrington. I was on San Juan.
So that means you probably hung out together, right?
No, we didn't hang out together. We always see each other at work. You know,
Well, you saw each other enough. You didn't need to hang out.
I worked all the time. That's when my hanging out was working. You know,
You're a
and
busy one.
yeah. You know, I'm at the store, and if I go to the club, it's work.
Yeah.
I'm there to produce something, to promote somebody.
Yeah.
It's there for business. When I'm out for just for pleasure, I can just go to dinner and something like that. I don't want to be bothered, you know.
Yeah. You gotta live
But
your life.
yeah,
You're not always having to
but
be with other
you
people.
know, it's self-employed, man. You self-employed. You working all the time. You busy all the time. I was always busy. You know. You ever see Donald Trump out of the suit?
No, he's always.
Always. When you see my suit at the golf course. Other than that, he's in a suit, right?
Yeah, right.
He's for business all the time. So, like I said, you know, you got to work hard at your game.
Now I'm gonna do a lightning round here, and I got a few different ways to do this. So, um, Edwin Starr, the stylists, Gloria Sykes, McKinley Jackson, and the politicians.
McKinley Jackson. McKinley Jackson is we was McKinley Jackson was with Motown. I mean D-Town for a while. McKinley Jackson, to see, he ran the band for. Wait a minute.
That's a poster from 20 Grand concert.
Oh, okay. Gloria, Gloria. I don't remember her. Edwin Starr. Edwin Starr, right across the border. He used to come over all the time. In fact, he like dated one of my employees at the 20 Grand record store. I wasn't around him that much because I say hello and that kind of thing. But he was always at the store because he dated one of my employees at the store. I had three girls working there. You know, when you got girls working,
Yeah.
guys around, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they doing records, right? The guys, they know people, they hang in there.
Did you try to hire prettier girls? You just hired whoever was the best worker.
No, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna lie. You know, everybody. You know, the way it was then. Nowadays they call you chauvinist or something. You said the right thing. But sure, you want somebody attracted to you. You know, you're not gonna want anybody.
Well, I mean, it's part
Well,
of
I'm just.
selling.
I
They
understand it,
sell better,
but
probably.
you asked me and I can't say that.
Well, you know,
I wouldn't. I'm saying I wouldn't say that. It's offensive now.
what is
But
the truth?
but that's why I said it. I just said it. I didn't lie. I just said I have my taste. Sure, of course. That's all. I didn't say I are a pretty girl. Well, compared to who? Compared to what? Compare who's pretty to, you know? She got to compare to me. In every way, you know, like her personality, it means a lot. Her smile, you know, her looks. And that's in everybody. And people should get up off the thing that it ain't that way. You understand? But nowadays, you can't do that. It's called discrimination. I don't like that.
Now, let's see. The Love Supreme, John Coltrane.
Yes, yes, the love supreme.
And then
Yeah.
we have,
Every, huh?
yes, sir?
Everything by Coltrane, I was involved in.
And what do you mean? You helped Coltrane? You
Well,
changed
no,
Coltrane?
he was my personal musician that I really liked. There's some that like Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Art Blakely, uh, Charles Mingus. Some people, Ray Brown. Some of they gonna be there. You know, and some of the who's better compared to what?
Compared to who?
Compared to who? What day I'm
Yeah.
in. Someday I want to listen to Sentimental. Someday I want to listen to Miles Davis. Someday I want to listen to nothing but Coltrane. Not days, but months. Whenever.
For months straight, you'll listen to
And
Coltrane.
so Coltrane, Love Supreme, and I was so involved in him because he wasn't like a, his record wasn't people grab it out like that, come in like that. Until he came out, when he came out with my favorite things. It was
That's when he broke.
it was like single, like a pop album. Everybody loves. I mean, like my favorite thing. But people was Coltrane before. Coltrane's been there ever since time. All of Miles Davis, Coltrane, back in the day. Those people like that. So go Coltrane, go back in time. You follow what I'm saying? And but to compare him who with Sonny Stitt, there's no comparison. Sometimes I'm Sonny Stitt. Sometimes I'm like Freddie Hubbard. Sometimes I want Freddie Hubbard. Sometimes I want Miles Davis.
I got a question for you. You said sometimes I'm Freddie Hubbard, sometimes I'm Miles Davis, sometimes I'm John Coltrane. If you could snap your finger and through power of magic a genie would turn you into one of these people, who would you like to live a week? Live a week in the shoes of John Coltrane
Well, I tell you like this: each week I live a week with each one of them because sometimes I might put on a Coltrane album, a Freddie Hubbard album, and never take it off for a month until like Red Clay he does, and Mr. Magic and Freddie Hubbard solo, and when he solo, I can turn it back and listen to his solo again. He's just that
All right.
devastating.
All right, here's a question. So, sometimes people say, I'll give my left pinky if I could do X or Y. But, I heard that the pinky, if you lose your pinky, you lose half the strength in your hand. So, instead of giving up your pinky, we'll do the ring finger because the middle and pointer and thumb are pretty important. So, what what person, of your past that's dead or gone would you give your left ring finger for to spend a week with? Who would you go on a time machine and your younger self too?
Well, that's a fair question, but it all depends on the mood I'm in when I want to listen to person. See, I listen to music by the mood that I'm in. I don't know what mood I'm going to be in. Sometimes I want to hear the blues. I have the blues all day, and I want nothing but blues all day. And sometimes I want Nancy Wilson. It's the mood I'm in. Sometimes it's Common McCrae. Sometimes it's Thelonious Monk. You know, it all depends on the mood that I'm in, who I want to listen to, or who I want to be. So I can't predict what mood I'm going to be in. You follow me?
I'm going to ask you an unfair question, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to insult you with this question, but you pride yourself in your sense of taste, your sense of style, and I think you have an excellent sense of taste and style. But do you think some of the people that you like just because you knew them personally? Maybe you wouldn't like them if you didn't, or you still would.
No,
Maybe you like them
has
before you
nothing.
met them. A lot of
It has
times.
nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with it. There's some people that turn win me over, like Nancy Wilson. I don't care for vocalists that much. I like King Pleasure, Eddie Jeppin, that type of singing. Uh, I like Shooby Dooby Doo word. Okay.
Shooby dooby doo. What?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Do ba da do boo boo ba doo da do do. I mean, you can be anybody, but have that note, that feeling, that way you put it there. So, like Nancy Wilson phrases, a Billie Holiday phrase. Sometimes I want to listen to Billie Holiday. Nobody phrases like Billie Holiday. Nobody sings like Billie Holiday. Nobody like Nancy Wilson. There's some people. That's what I said. The mood that you're in. Now, if I'm gonna have a party, that's different. Yeah, maybe I want to have an upbeat party.
Well, no, give us a playlist. You're throwing a party. Who are you gonna spin? What record?
Well, let's see. All depends on what the party is and who's gonna be there. See, it's some people be there want a booty. I mean, shit. I don't do. That's not my. I'm just still saying some people like that, and some people we get it down like that. But maybe I want to have like a Frank Sinatra party. I probably want to listen to Frank. Maybe want to listen to Lou Rawls. He's some everything in there. Lou Rawls is one of the best ballad singers. See, he can sing the blues, but she didn't call him as a blues singer. I don't consider him a blues singer. And he and I used to talk about that. Lou Rawls is a blues singer. drink muddy water, and sleep in a hollow log. That's just a blues tune.
Hmm.
He can sing a ballad like anybody. God bless the child. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lost your loving feeling. You know, stuff like that. Anything Luke can sing, he put his heart into it. Sam Cooke is another one. You see?
Did you know Sam Cooke?
Um, I didn't know Sam Cooke. Come to find out, Sam Cooke was related some way. I found out after,
Related to you?
yeah, some we just found it out. I just found out not long ago, a few years ago. I don't know how, but I didn't never meet Sam Cooke. But I used to listen to Sam Cooke back in the day because he sang gospel, the Soul Stirrers, and Lou Rawls was with the Pilgrim Travelers. They sang gospel records, and see where I came from down south, we heard more gospel singing than we heard like doo-wop singing. I like the Mills Brothers, Ain Brothers. I think the Ain Brothers white, I believe. But the Mills Brothers, I used to love the Mills Brothers. And the guy that I came up that raised me like that, they was white people. He didn't just raise me. I was up there all day, sit in this lab. He would listen to the radio, and I'd be in this lab. He taught me about boxing. I would listen to Joe Lewis and Mike Smith and boxing when I was a kid.
Wow.
And he was a white guy. And they said that his nephew was my father. My daddy thought that. I don't know whether it's true or not, but my daddy thought that. You know, speculation. But anyway, I had a radio. We didn't have a radio when I was growing up. We finally got a radio, and we got a battery once a year, and the battery go down, we couldn't get the radio no more. And I remember we had a record player, but you had to spin it with your finger. It was the RCA with the what's that on the RCA?
The dog.
Right.
He knows his master's voice, and the dog will be looking at that big
Oh, that's what it was.
shell.
Well, I remember that picture of the dog. But anyway, it you had to wind it up and it play. But we broke the spring in the winder. My dad had, I guess they had me, and we just turn it, and sometimes be
Wait,
going.
so your dad would make you? You were the one who had to turn it for the family to listen.
No, not the family. We just turn it for ourselves. If we want to hear it, you got to play music.
How fast did you have to turn it?
Well, you got to play. You know the song. You turn it fast enough to keep up with the song. You say. You can turn to. I just slow it down. Get it for you. Dun, dun, I hear this song. Bye, bye, bye. You understand?
Yeah.
That's what I remember. And then when we got a radio, I remember when we got a radio, I would listen to Captain Marvel, Superman, those comic books every day when I got out of school. And I would read comic books. They taught me to read. See, the white guy, he had comic books. We didn't know anything about comic books. And I would read. And I would start when I got in a bicycle, when I got big enough. I put it back together, and I would ride to the city, and we'd get comic books, and we'd go get the comic books and read at the newsstand on the ground with the bicycle sitting there. You read the comic book, Captain Marvel, and all those kind of things. I read them all, Cowboys. Then I saw the first movie. Our first movie, I saw your hand be shaking like that. When the movie be moving, the hand be shaking. I remember they came to the school and brought us a movie. You know, those it ain't always been this day. I remember the first time I went upstairs. I went to the city, and our cousin was a dentist, and he had his office upstairs over the funeral home. And we went upstairs. I had never been upstairs before, and I just looked out the window. Because I had been in the country, man. You know, if you don't know, you don't know. You never seen nobody. We didn't see any white people. Only the people that, the white man, his nephew, and her brother, and his wife, and 2 kids. That's all the white people would see. And, you know, we talk to white people, you're scared they might kill you. You know, we out in the woods. You don't just run across people. We go to the trading store and get our food. Well, not get our food because you raise everything. You got to go there once a month, every so often, and get something. We didn't make our flour, but we made our cornmeal. Get the corn, beat it up, and made meals. You know, we kill hog, we got grease from that. Sugar, where we get sugar from? Where we raise cane and get honey. We had honey. We had our bees. You follow what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So if you're going down the road, you don't run across no damn car. You ain't meeting no cars. So we had pig trails we walked through. You understand? In the jungle, in the woods, man. That's where I came out of. And when got big enough to go to school, I was about 8 years old when I went to school. And I went to that school about 2 years. I think I went 2 seasons down there. And then we left that town, and moved because I saved the white man. We was playing on the sawdust then. With his nephew, he's white. He's like brothers. We don't know anything about. We just like, and they had some girl. We know the girl. We know our play. You don't mess with the white girl. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, son. We knew that, and we didn't have no problem. When we go to the house, we go to the back door, knock on the door, and they go and come in. Now they all use the back door, but now when they have company, they didn't want us to come in like that. We had to call be in your place when they have company. You understand what that? They didn't have company that much. But when it'd be another relative would be there, and we come up there and we go over, we doing some performance. We didn't hang with them. You know, I played with their kids. We'd be out in barn shooting birds. You shit like, you understand what I'm saying? And so, and then when I moved from there, because we had to walk to school at a church. Wasn't no school, it was a church. We go to school, some kid.
Went to school in a church building?
Yeah, somebody.
Was it like
it
a
wasn't.
one-room school? Was it like a one-room school?
Right, it was a church.
Like almost here. Let me put
But you see what I'm saying?
Wait.
I got to stop moving too much. But what I'm saying is,
I
that
want to show, you know.
everybody go to church once a month. We go to church. Everybody in the community, and the community was miles around. You understand? When we go to the community, then we see the community. Then we don't see them no more every day. That was a man used to come by our house with our cousin, they said. I think he was coming by screwing my mother. I'm sure he was, since I grew up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My daddy be in the field plying the mule. He ain't home. My mother home cooking, washing. We ain't playing out. We ain't having no clothes. We ain't having no drawers. We naked. Ain't nobody coming by. You know, I'm just saying.
Didn't expect anybody. Yeah.
The mailman didn't run every day, and he ain't stopping. He might come to a mail. You hear mail on the street, you know. He ain't coming. He ain't got no mail. He ain't coming down that way. He know what he got before he leave. You understand what I'm saying? We living in. That's what we were, and so when we moved up there, I was I got a picture. I was a kid, real ugly kid, you know, nappy hair. Everybody got on overalls, you know, back in the old days. But I'm just saying, and I left there. Let's see what grade? 8th grade, like I said. I left the 8th grade. Then I passed the 8th grade, passed to the 9th. Didn't go to school the next day. I moved to town. I'm married. That's how long I was down there. You understand? When 8th grade, I was about 15 years old. Because I came out of school in like 54, I was, I think, 21, 19 or 20 when I came out of high school. You see, I went to school 4 years, married. So I had to be in 9th grade, right?
Yeah.
So the girl got pregnant during when the school was out for the 8th grade. But school ain't stopped when I went to go to school for the 9th grade. I couldn't go to school there. I had to stumble ride 30 miles away for 2 years. But I kept going to school. And then the second year down there, I had got a job in El Dorado. You follow me? So I wasn't at home that much. I raised myself. I don't remember my daddy gave me no birthday present. I remember him buying me getting one thing for Christmas one time. I used to buy pet milk. We go to the trading store. I used to like pet milk. Pay a nickel for a can of pet milk. And I would drink the whole can. Out of the can. with the PET on it. I love that pet milk, man. You get the thing for a nickel. And
Pet milk
pet milk.
for like an animal.
You buy in a can at the store. I don't know what it's called. Pet milk.
Was it animal food?
No, no.
Oh, pet milk or pep milk.
Is it PEP?
I don't know. Okay, but you.
Well, you know, we
enjoy it.
pronounce the word P.
Yeah.
It's in a white, same kind of can. They used to use for I don't have any in there. And see, and I worked at a dairy when I was going to in the 8th grade. I worked at a dairy. I used to walk to school, go to work, I had to catch the bus at 7:30. I done walked 5 miles through the woods, couldn't see my hand before me, going to the yard to feed the rabbits and milk the cows, and feed the cows, and then go to catch the bus there and go to school. I did that down there. I did all that shit, man, but I made my grades, and I finished. I got my school book. I'm gonna show it to you next time because it's over there. That's what I'm saying. The substance. I want you to see what I did in school, and you see this stuff. See, when I talk, it's kind of, you understand what I'm saying? And so I made good grades. And the people going by what you had to give them, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I can stand up to I can hold a conversation with anybody. I might pronounce the word exactly right, but if I don't try. I don't try to use the words I can't use. But I can, you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
And that's all I'm saying.
So I'm just gonna do that thing where I just say some names and see what you want to say.
See, like we talking now, we talking these things. It just comes out like this. You understand what I'm saying? You get together and put it together because see, you go back and come up. I can't think of these things. Like a lot of things, it just came when you mention it. It just came up like Heaven Star. That thing I said about Billy Gordy, about the record. See, this is the truth. I don't know what Keywell had. I wasn't in the legal detail of it. You understand what I'm saying? I worked for Keywell, but Billy Gordy bought the building and had us to move. And I know this, that there was a black guy working a bank on Warren and McGraw down in that way. I don't know his name, but he had some big turn in the bank. P. Hall and them would write a check over the weekend some kind of way. And I get to work that Monday morning, Miss Keywell would give me an envelope and tell me to go down there. I go to the bank early before it opened and see this guy and give him this package. It was something funny going on. I'm not saying it was illegal. It was illegal what he did, maybe but I don't know. But anyway, that drained Miss Keywell. Miss Keywell, I believe, drained her money through Pete Hall and them because they was trying to do D-Town records. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know what she had in power. They had a 20 grand record store. I ran the record store. I took the record store. I don't know who paid for the record. I don't know where the money went. I put the money in the bank. I took it. I don't know what. You understand what I'm saying?
It was a mystery.
But Miss Keywell wasn't putting no money in the Monroe music. Like for instance, like Coltrane. Coltrane, she wouldn't buy Coltrane that much because it was not selling records. She want Lee Morgan like Sidewinder. Everybody come there and give me that. You understand what I'm saying?
It was popular.
And that used to piss me off. Her nephew ran the store on Livernois, and I'm downtown. But when she get all the records, how many should I get a Coltrane, Lee? Get 5, and get 3 stereo, 5 hi-fi and 3 stereo. She get 2 stereo. She called Les to get 2 stereo, 2 hi-fi and 1 stereo. We added the record for the. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sells out.
That's what happened to Monroe music. So I knew she was going to go out of business. People leaving from downtown, just a matter of time, okay? We renting from the city already. So by me being part of the business, as she said when we started, like I said, she said, if I make it, you make it. She didn't make it, she left. I said, we divorced each other. She went to Livernois. I said, I'm going to stay here. I put Lee in front of Monroe Music. You understand what I'm saying? Bought the record from the manufacturer. And the biggest history. I got my book and show you this story I ever had. I got them right handy here. Let me just show you and make you some show you something.
All right. Point it out. Okay.
This is what I'm talking about.
Here, you see the camera right here?
Okay.
Or see,
Well, I'm going to show you first. See?
Here, show it.
No. Let me just show you first.
Okay.
And then you, I don't want to see. This is what I mean with profit and loss statement. You see? You got to have this. See? You got to have this. See the dollar? See? Okay, this is monthly. This is monthly. See? See? It's monthly. See?
This is you're running the show here.
See? I'm talking about.
Oh my word!
See, this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to see. I had a business.
And that's
And look here.
at that time. Like it's worth even more. You know.
Look how much. And see, every day I took what I took in.
Oh,
I had
my
2
word.
books. These not the real books. These are the books that I showed you. You got to cheat. You can't do what you pay all your money in taxes.
You keep 2 sets of books.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
You're smart.
Now you see what I'm saying? See, everything is there. I had an employee. You just look through it. See, you want to make a certain amount. You got to show a certain amount. You can't.
And you're making bank.
I'm just saying. See, you didn't know that. See,
What year is this? What year?
everything is up there. Every month is up there. Today,
What year?
wait a minute. Wait a minute. See, wait a minute.
1979. 1979.
Every one of these got every.
You're making bank.
See?
1979.
See.
What advertising, car and truck expenses, freight,
But see,
insurance, legal and professional.
you
fees,
got to show that. Where you have, you understand? You're allowed to do that. You got to show.
rent, repairs,
You gotta show this.
taxes, general
That's
taxes,
how
payroll, taxes,
That's what
sales,
Donald Trump. That's why they can't.
telephone,
That's why they can't get him nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
travel, entertainment, utilities, wages.
See, everything else. If you go to court, you got print. You got facts. Anything else speculation. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You
That's
keep
amazing.
record. That's what I'm trying to tell you. See? You didn't know that. See, like I said, that's why I said that's why I was the only one in the country, man. And in the other stores, they just record stores.
Man.
They don't know how much the money. They don't even know they got a record store, record shop. He just rented the place from the building and put a sign down selling records, right?
Yes, sir.
Government don't know anybody there. They know about me. You understand what I'm saying?
You made bank. You made good money.
See? And here's.
Oh, it's actually a few years, a number of years of.
That's what I'm saying.
You have years in this.
And that's number 2. And that's one of these is number 2. I have 2 stores. It's in the back. What's that? But I'm just still saying. And then every day, I got this and that works together. The first
That's
day.
the other book. This is the more day to day where you write it in. This is the more formal printed.
This is where I write it in, but this got to coincide with that because the government want to check me this and that check, but the other set don't do this.
This you can check your math. Yeah, that's very good.
I didn't keep them in the same place.
Yeah.
You don't know who's in your store. They got your book.
Could you show it to the camera? You show it to me first. Could you show it now? You see, sit back and then you could see what, almost like you're reading a story to some kids or something.
Wait a minute. What do you want me?
Hold it up and you can see. Hold it up so the camera can see.
Well, this right here.
Yeah, the book.
Yeah. Well,
hold it or both of them. Yeah, the one at a time probably. But. Then if you want to say anything.
Well, I don't know what this, like what I'm saying.
Let's start over. What are you holding in your hands right there? What's that folder, that book you have?
This is profit and loss statement.
Of Lee's Monroe Music.
Right.
Your record store.
My record store. Every month, this is what I would take in. I tell you what I would take in every month. Tell you what I paid out. Called profit and loss statement. You pay your taxes on time, and that's how I kept business. Most people don't do that, see, and they don't have books. And when they in business, at the end of the year, they owe a lot of taxes, and that's why the man closed them down, because they owe taxes. I didn't do that. I kept everything in perspective.
Who taught you how to keep a book? Did Florence teach you?
No, she didn't. When I first started in business myself, I got into it. Then I found out I was doing it wrong, and I had to go and seek because my taxes I would have been out in a couple of years, just like other people do. But someone gave me guidance. That's what I should do. In fact, I got the um, accountant. They did the tax for the Detroit Lions, and so they good enough to keep tax for them. My father-in-law, ex-father-in-law, he was a friend of the people at Detroit Lions. He was going, he was there every game, had season tickets. We all went every day, every season, and he told me what I should do by getting the. See, there's the Illinois right there.
Yeah. Your leaves too.
At least two, and
You had two record stores.
right,
And
and he uh, introduced me to these people. They keep my tax for me. They did the tax for the Detroit Lions.
wow. That's a you gotta be good to be able to do it for a major sports team.
Right. So they're good enough for me.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I know what audited. I paid my taxes. I got what my exemption. Whatever comes to me, they see that I got it. You got to pay them, and that's what I did. And so
And you did good. Now I want to finish. Let's see. I want to finish with a lightning round,
okay.
and then I'm going to ask you to leave the folks at home with a piece of wisdom, as I always like to do, because I think you certainly have a lot of things to share. So lightning round and then wisdom. We got 10 minutes. Ivy Joe Hunter. Trained in orchestral music, session player. Okay. Clarence Paul. Not sure if you know that name. He mentored Stevie Wonder, but produced for Motown. Clarence Paul. Fingertips is the song he was behind. Harvey Fuqua.
Yeah, Harvey Fuqua. Yes, Harvey used to come in my store like a couple times a week in the beginning when he was out, and he would come in. He would talk to Miss Kewell all the time. Yeah, in fact, his son, I met his son not too long ago downtown, and somehow he recognized me, but I didn't know him. And yeah, Harvey, I knew him. He used to come in all the time in the beginning.
Do you think you influenced him?
I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't think I influenced him. I think we probably influenced each other.
Harvey established the R&B doo-wop group called the Moonglows.
That's right. He had the moon glow. Right.
And that's how Marvin Gaye got his start, was with the Moonglows.
Right. See, you refresh my remember. I wasn't thinking about that, but I remember that now. Yeah, right. He started the moon glow. Right.
And
That's
he was
right.
instrumental in the development of the Motown sound, some might say.
Right, right. Well, Harvey used to come in all the time. See, I know he was down there, but I didn't know everything he did.
He was married to Gwen Gordy.
Right, right, right. His sister, right.
Yeah, sister Barry Gordy. Barrett Strong's Money, That's What I Want, on Anna Records.
Right, right, right. Mm-hmm. Well, Barry Strong record was playing when I came to the city, see? And that was playing. But when you said this, that refreshed my memories on Harvey. But I knew him, but I forgot what all he was involved in.
He brought Tammy Terrell to the label, produced.
See, I didn't know that exactly, but I remember Tammy Terrell because at the time, he was in the store all the time with Florence Kewell. We were always in this company with Harvey.
How was he like as a person?
Well, he was just a nice person. He always treated me nice and respect, and that's all I can.
When a guy like that stops by, is he just stopping by to talk, or is he actually buy stuff, buy records?
No, he'd come in and talk. We come in. He wasn't buying anything. He come in and talk.
You didn't mind that when people were just talking, not
No,
buying
because
anything?
they come in to see what's on our mind, and he tells what's on his mind. And we like to. Well, they call not only come by, they call all the time, all across the country. The Beatles called me from England.
Hmm.
They would call when they have a record. Come out and making a record. There's been many times the phone will ring. If they're on the phone, they want me to listen to something over the radio. Over the phone that they recording. But I never met the Beatles. But I've talked to everybody in the Beatles. I guess there was a time when they would be in town at a place on Grand River, I believe. I didn't. I wanted to go there. A couple of times I went, and I didn't have a place to park. But they would be there because John St. Clair, we would hang down there, you know. And there was a ballroom off of Grand River there.
The Grandee Ballroom.
Right, right, right.
You turned down a couple chances to
Well,
see
they,
the Beatles because you couldn't find a parking spot.
well,
And you probably
yeah.
could have met them too, because you had a record store. You probably could have.
Right. Well, see, like the
security
people
and
there would
shipped
know,
their
man.
band.
When you get in, they're gonna introduce you to everybody. But you know, it's always something. Just like I don't have a car now, right? My last 4 cars were stolen. Last 3 was brand new Corvettes. So that had a Seville, brand new. I bought them new. They steal them. So and then at that time, I had a car. I had a record player, 8-track player in or something.
In the
They
60s?
Well, when they was out, I had them, but they was breaking in before then. They break.
Now let's start over. I want you to look into one of the cameras, look into that camera, or look into that camera. It doesn't matter. And say, hello, my name is Lee Canady, and I passed up on a chance to see the Beatles because I couldn't find a parking spot. And
Well, it was, you know.
well, no, because then we'll make a little video just of that one story. Let's tell that story, because that's a great story. I love that. Or, like, however you want to say it.
Well, they wasn't that big then.
Introduce yourself. Say, hello, my name is Lee Canady, proprietor of the DJ record store Lee's on Road Music for 30 years, 30 some odd years. And I passed up on an opportunity to see the Beatles, maybe even meet them because, you know, I was a record store owner after all, because I couldn't find a parking spot at the Grandee Ballroom over there on West Grand Boulevard. West Grand Boulevard?
Yeah.
No, so
No, wait. They was on not West Grand Boulevard. They was on what's that? It's Claremont, isn't it? Cla-
Mount Elliott?
no, Claremont and Grand River. I think the Grand Ballroom.
No, but let's start over.
Wait.
That's inconsequential.
But it seems like to me, I don't know the name, but they over Grand River and Joy Road. What?
yes, in Division, or no, Joy
Yeah,
Davidson, or Joy. Yes.
Joy, something. The
You're
ball
right, it is on Joy Road. I have a poster that's from Grandee Ballroom.
over there,
Let's,
and they was over there, and the place over here on the east side too. Or what's the name of it? On Gratiot, not Gratiot, Corner, the ballroom over there, because some black guys bought the building. In fact, they, they had that building.
I'm having too much fun right now.
Uh-huh.
We're going to do just one last little segment because it's about 1 o'clock right now.
Okay.
Do you want to be done? It's 1 o'clock?
Well,
All right. Okay, I'm just going to do very quickly. Serena Wright.
she was married to Stevie Wonder.
Yes, and creative partner. They wrote "It's a Shame."
Right. She so wrote to him, but
Spinners.
see, I don't remember all the things that they did, you know, but I remember her.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah, I wasn't a Stevie Wonder fan at the time.
Why?
I don't know. My ex-wife loved Stevie Wonder, but I wasn't a. I like jazz.
You didn't like him?
I was a jazz singer. I wasn't that. You know, I was listening to stuff from popping, you know, like that. But rock and roll record, that wasn't my thing. I was into jazz, you know. But although they was a hit, I respect Stevie Wonder. But I never bought an album by him.
1971, "Where I'm Coming From," an album by Stevie Wonder. "If You Really Love Me" was the song. Billy Preston, uh, she worked with him.
Yeah, right. I'm sure they did. I
Did you
don't
ever meet Billy Preston?
know, but we had this record going because Florence Keywell liked Billy Preston, and he was an instrumentalist, see? And back in the day, they wasn't playing instrumental. Billy Preston was one. Hot Potato. I can't think of Hot Potato. Who was that by? Hot Potato. It was big and Green Onion and Booker T and MG, and it wasn't many.
And then you got Gladys Knight and the Pips. I don't want to do wrong.
Yeah,
Junior Walker and the All Stars.
yeah,
What does it take to win your love?
yeah,
David Ruffins.
yeah.
My whole world ended the moment you left me.
Uh-huh.
You have Diana Ross, Supremes, Smokey Robinson, The Miracles. Someday we'll be together. We've come too far to end it now. Frank Wilson. He moved to Detroit. Actually, when Motown moved from Detroit to Los Angeles, did that actually happen? Motown kind of left Detroit and went to L.A.
Yeah, he had an office out in L.A. He's still here. He's always been here. But he just, different. Motown never left Detroit, but he just different parts and different.
Eddie Kendricks, Keep on Truckin', Boogie Down,
Mm-hmm.
Shoeshine Boy.
Mm-hmm.
You have William Mickey Stevenson.
Yeah, but see, all those guys I met those people, but I don't remember all what they did. They doing their thing. I'm trying to do my thing down there.
He was an A&R person for Motown, wasn't he?
He was something. See, David, all those people, when those people like that, they still contact me.
He worked with Dancing in the Street.
Well, that's Martin and Vandellas.
Yeah. With Marvin Gaye and Sylvia Moy. Kim Weston.
Mm-hmm.
What Becomes of the Brokenhearted. Stubborn Kind of Fellow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the songwriters, but like I said, I don't be getting into the songwriters that much. I want to know the record and how much how many I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna sell it.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah, I met all those guys too. In fact, I go backstage with them. Lionel Richie, the one I had glasses. I had Playboy glasses, and he had something just like. He came up to me and admired my glasses, and he had something just like mine. We was at Coco Hold on, Lionel Richie. I mean
When was that?
the Commodores when they came out.
When he first came out, you both had on the same type of glasses.
Yeah, I had the glasses I wore. I think they was Playboy, and the guy he had the same glasses, and he complimented me on mine. We did down there. But you see, when those artists come in town, when a new artist, they always gonna invite us there. They want us to see them free, like all in the family. I mean, we're a family now.
We
Who's that? Sister Ledge. Okay,
like these kind of glasses,
those is one. No.
or like this, or this,
What?
like that.
No.
I think you have them with some of these pictures, like
Yeah,
out
right.
there. Those glasses.
Right,
there.
right. Uh-huh.
Well, here, I'm gonna take it off just because you're not having to identify who these people are. Just show the people at home these glasses. So I want you to hold this. Now this is you right here, right? And those are your Playboy glasses. Now hold it far in front of you, up to this camera.
Yeah. I had a pair of blue ones and a pair of green ones of those. And he came up to me and he said, I like your glasses.
Lionel Richie did.
No, not Lionel Richie. One of his brothers. I don't know his name, the dog guy. I hate to say it.
That's so cool. So those are the glasses you'd rock, and not a lot of people make that stylistic choice.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Now,
But, and you see, when they would be in town, I would always be back there, and it'd always be a one spokesman, like, talking to everybody. Like Lionel Richie here, I'd be talking to him, and the other group be around. You know what I'm saying? It's always, and but I didn't just hang with them that much,
just
you know.
to do it.
I go and take pictures and let the people know that I'm there. The record company, they invite me, and they respect me. I respect them for going and show my appreciation. You understand? They
Yeah.
send me free goods, you know, and they take care of me.
Yeah.
So when the artists come in town, I take care of them.
Yeah.
And they want me there, I be there.
Yeah.
And they come and do my stuff, fix my windows up, put out promotion for me, put me on the air. You understand? Say,
Yeah.
go to Lee and pick it up. So when they there, I do the same thing for them. And that's why I meet all the artists like that. But I didn't just hang with them. You know, some of them I did. Some of them got to be person. Freddie Hubbard, you know, like that, you know. Paul Reiser, like I said, he was a promoter, but he would come in the store, and he doesn't come now. But when we see each other, we respect each other, you know. And Dr. Roseman, he's over there. He's still around. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm sure he's fine, you know. But all those guys, they came out in my store.
All right, let's wrap up right now and just leave the folks at home with a piece of wisdom. Wisdom for the folks at home.
Well, I can say that a person can be anything that he want to be and have all the goodness that go with it if you just put your mind to it and take one step at a time. ABC, one, two, three. And I had a good life. The record company, record, they've been good to me. I was good to them, and so it could have been something else. But you just got to work hard at it. That's all. And I worked really hard to do what I did, and I don't regret it at all. Thank you.
All right, we're done.
All right. I hope this come out well,
That
man.
was it.
Because this is just come out. This is from the heart, man. This is the way it is, you know. I ain't trying to do it to nobody, but I'm just.